Hello, welcome to the listeners. Welcome to the Talk Your Soul podcast. DJ Sabir with you, DA from Vegas. We are one day into the Trump kingdom. Um, Welcome. It's still here. America is still here. In this episode, we are going to continue to protect you from all enemies, foreign and domestic, as we do. We shout out our sponsor, Dubby, who will be running across the screen. And we're also going to talk about drugs and sports a little bit and get a little TikToky on you. So tune in. We got a lot to talk about as we continue into this our project 2025, which is to enlighten and entertain. DA, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Trump kingdom. I guess I'm smoking on Joe Biden. I'm smoking on this Joe Biden blunt right now. We smoking
Not
on
the joke, not the Biden pack.
smoking on that. That Joe is going,
You
bro.
smoking on the Biden pack, yo?
Yo, he left a letter in the he left a letter in the desk for
Yeah.
Trump. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, smoking on that with the Bible paper. So yes. How you feeling today, bro? How you feeling? How you feeling, man? Is it cold out there? Like it's cold here, man. Like is
Man,
it cold?
goddamn right. Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
like
it's cold.
global warming is like, come on, man. Y'all better
Man,
like
y'all think it's all people think it's all always sunny. Nah. Maybe in California might be a little warm, but here in Vegas, it's cold as hell.
all right. Well, welcome from
It's just a
Vegas.
sunny day. That's the only difference.
Shout out to W Energy Drinks. Where do you want to start today, brother? Where do you want to start?
Well, I do want to give my thoughts on you know, the inauguration since
Hmm.
since it's happened, we might as well talk about it a little bit. Um, Particularly with his cabinet choices. I'm going to put something up on the screen because I want people to see the people, courtesy of Wikipedia. So if you give me a moment, I'll go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, I just want to point out that you can definitely tell from his cabinet choices that there is a right wing agenda being, the groundwork, which leads to Project 2025, because that was what it's about. It's about re revamping our government in I won't say extremist. I don't necessarily think it's extremist, but it's definitely right wing, and it is Christianity based.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to necessarily get into that, but I'll show you these people. If this thing decides, oh yeah, there it is, there it is. So where are we?
His
Yeah, here
I
we
think
go.
the technical term is going to be called his proposed cabinet members because I don't think technically they've been voted in yet.
I mean, yeah, they're having confirmation hearings, but in recent history,
No
when have you ever
power,
seen
no
one to
power being
actually?
vested. Yeah.
I'm just saying, when have you ever actually seen one to not get appointed?
Nah, Gates. There's a couple of them that didn't even rise to this level. There's a couple guys that got shot down, like because they were just
Well, yeah.
blatantly.
Well, tell me, because I mean, this has the entire list. So you tell me.
Yeah, there
Now,
was a couple guys.
I know
Gates
Marco
got shot down
Rubio
for
is
secretary.
currently.
Gates is the wild dude who looks like uh God, who does he looks like a talk show contestant or something. He's got that perfect hair and he just looks like he's younger. But he got bumped out for he was going to be attorney general, which is frightening. And
Well,
I think Trump is smarter than we feel, or in that like I think Trump knows that Gates was going to get shot down, but Gates had did so many favors for Trump that he at least had to nominate him. You know, he had at least had to attempt to put him on the cabinet, even though he didn't even rise to the level of a proposed cabinet member because of his history with sexual allegations and all
Well,
kinds of weird shit.
here
So
is the current nominee for
freaky ass
Attorney
Republicans.
General.
All right, go for it. Yeah, and so speaking of inauguration, in attendance were some of these folks that we're looking at here: Pete Hedges, Christy Nome, Doug
Yeah.
Marco Rubio. He's a familiar name from the past. He tried to get Huckabee in. I don't know if that's a go. The other controversial pick, they're all controversial, but Robert Kennedy Jr. as the Surgeon
Now,
General.
now think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Think about the fact that this is the guy that ran independently,
Mm-hmm.
and his family basically turned their back on him, and now he is going to be on Trump's cabinet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily know what to make of that. I just know, the
Even
game
when he
when I
backed
see
out
it.
the election, it was, you know, bro, like these
This is
handshake,
A Street in action.
these backroom
Yes,
handshake.
exactly.
You know what I mean? Even when he backed out of the election as a distraction, because it's not like he was gonna, like it was, you get a little pat, like, all right, yeah, like I got you, bro. Like, yeah, step down, but you still talk all that like alarmist, crazy conspiracy theory stuff. Like, you're my guy. You're one of us. So I got a spot for you. You know what I mean?
Now, this right here is one that we should all take notice of. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe. Now, as you can see, like he has a history in U.S. intelligence and foreign intelligence, and I don't know, but I'm just saying I'm pointing out the fact that I think people don't pay attention to this much, and it's because by doctrine they're not allowed to actually operate in U.S. soil,
Yeah.
but we also have Snowfall as a show based on them doing that very thing. So either way, but
Yeah.
throughout history,
But
the
like you
CIA
mentioned,
director
you
has
mentioned
usually ended up being president at some point.
no, and think about like this is why beast mode comes into effect. Uh, we have to remember these names because I
Yes,
remember
that's why I'm showing them
I
so people can
remember
remember.
one I remember one CIA director who went on to become president. I think that was the first Bush. The first Bush
That's
was
what I'm saying.
the first Bush was definitely you know inside of a circle of government before he was even a president. You know what I mean? He was in rooms, hearing all kinds of things and doing all kinds of things during the era when during a controversial era of CIA activity. Knock knock snowfall. You know what I mean? Like George Bush was active during those times in the CIA. You know. And yes, as a head nod to our Project 2025 conversation, this is the manifestation of him putting power into the government so that the government part is solidified. What's frightening to me was the attendees of the inauguration from our tech world. We had Meta's Mark Zuckerberg. We had Amazon's Jeff Bezos. We had Tesla's Elon Musk. We had Apple's Tim Cook. And we had Google's Sundar Pichai. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like, my God, like the power in that room from the tech. I mean, you have the tech. The tech world used to be cool. It used to be separate from the government. Like now, Guys, woo! Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Watch out.
Speaking of Elon Musk, uh, I'm sure you've seen the video by now of his awkward salute at a
Yeah,
recent Trump rally. If not, I'm about to show it to you.
I saw that shit. But show it to the people.
Yeah,
Um,
let's show it to the people because
it's viral. Um,
hold on, let me do that. Let's start over again. It's
and
the
I
one
and
thing
this is
about
a
the shit story.
sidebar. If I'm Elon Musk at this point, why wouldn't I have Elon Musk cologne?
You want to hear something funny? I promise you, I was walking to the supermarket earlier today, and I
Got
had that exact same thought.
Oh, you did?
Like
Okay.
I had visualized the commercial in my head and everything. Yo. So the commercial, right? Let me tell you the commercial. So the commercial is, like he's like at a ranch and he's like sitting on the porch with his Labrador and shit, and then like the voiceover is talking about like reflecting on a time of I don't know, great achievement. I don't know, just something far off and poetic. And then like you just see like the overlay of the bottle of cologne, and then it just says Elon in small letters and Musk in big letters. Like, and that's the actual name of the cologne, Elon
I
Musk.
like it. I like it. You know, we are both. We both need to be in the room when commercials are being made. In
Yeah,
my opinion,
definitely.
my twist on it is now that we have this image in front of us, I want the bottle to look exactly like he's standing right there. I want the bottle, and I want you to just be able to like take the hand off and just pour it
And
out of
dab yourself. No, like it's got a little applicator, so you pull the arm off and then dab yourself on the neck with it.
like you can
With
just
it,
like right
yeah.
tilt the hand down or up, whatever is more aesthetic. And
Hold on. I I don't know if playing this would be an issue, but I'm gonna play it anyway.
shout out to Joe Van Musk, which might have been my first cologne ever. Joe
There are
Van Musk.
elections that come and go. Some
Watch
elections
this,
are,
fellas. Watch this, people.
you know, important. Some are not. But this one,
I don't know when he's gonna do it because this is
but
actually
this
my
one
first time
really
seeing it
matters.
too.
And I just want to say thank you
It's at the
for
very
making it
end, I
happen.
think.
Thank you.
At the end,
I don't
It
know.
is
I think
thanks
so.
to you
No, he
that
does the
wait a
heart thing
minute.
because he said he's trying to like say,
it is
"This is from
thanks
my
to
heart
you
to you." That's
that the
not an
future
Yeah,
of
emotion.
this
yeah.
nation is assured.
Oh man, I missed it. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep doing all that.
Just run it
But
back and
yeah,
play it. Talk. It'll play out. Just try it one more time. But
To you that the future
I'm
of
trying to. You said
civilization
it's near
is
the
assured.
end.
might be. It might be. It might be. That's like a 30
There are
second clip.
elections
Let that roll. Let that rock.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
for making it happen. Thank you.
Oh yeah, that is definitely sometimes.
My heart goes out
You
to
see,
you.
he did it twice.
It is thanks to you
You see that, right?
that the
Yeah,
future of
that
civilization
was
is
scary.
assured.
Yeah. People
But yeah,
keep that in
but
mind. We
but
talking
no,
about some.
his cologne right now. That's the image of like just power, man. And
Uh,
you know,
anyway, let
white
me get
power.
this off the screen. I mean, but I just want people to pay attention to these things. Like that's not done coincidentally. That's all I'll say to that. That's not
But
done
ain't it
coincidentally.
Martin Luther King holiday day of service to people who acknowledge it? I guess. Um, as someone with gray hair, I was alive when his birthday wasn't a holiday, and when in the '80s people marched on Washington to make the King holiday a holiday, and then so that was passed federally, and then state by state, certain states even held on. I remember Arizona was the last state that held on, that did not want to make the King holiday a national holiday, and it was only the threat of them not being allowed to have the Super Bowl that made them cater, and at a state level, and acknowledge that now in every single state, you know the King Day was a holiday. I feel all kinds of ways. Y- You know, is Martin Luther King our most significant American since the original Americans that like came up with America? If
Wait,
the
what do
answer is
you
yes,
mean?
then he deserves the day. But what the day has become is not really connected to him as much as it used to be. You know,
No, it's not.
yeah, and
Because
it continues to
honestly,
evolve.
where the thing is, it being a federally recognized holiday doesn't necessarily make it inclusive with the thing. It's just that is the day that the government has set to recognize it. If they really wanted to celebrate his birthday, it would be on his birthday.
Did you see the black minister at the inauguration?
No, I didn't watch the inauguration.
So
So
I didn't either, but like there was a clip of a black minister giving the King's speech at the inauguration with
seriously,
with Trump in the background. Yes, that went viral. And check that out. Check that out. You know what I mean? Just for reactions. It was almost like a young caricature of Martin Luther King, and they were kind of. It was kind of like they were kind of all like kind of like snickering behind because he was overdoing it. He was like just like uh no offense because I do it. It was like a Tubi version of Martin Luther King. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll let you check into it. Then we'll touch back to it. But yeah, Trump is here. He saved TikTok. Did you hear?
yes, I did. Whoop de doo.
Uh, why? Why do you say that?
I don't really care about TikTok. I'm
About
not
TikTok?
even on it. I don't. I know the story and I get the image, but it's not personally enough to move me. It's not. It wouldn't have affected me if it had not been saved because I don't use it. I don't even like it.
Okay. Why don't you like it?
I don't know. Like I don't need every single app. Like I'm good with the ones that I'm used to using. I don't need to be on every single platform that exists. And truth be told, like I'm really not into doing a whole lot of videos. I'm only doing this because of what we're doing. I'm not a video content creator, so you're not going to find me wanting to be on TikTok.
Okay. I wanted to
It
hear
has
you.
nothing to do. It's nothing to do with the issue. It's just
No, no, no.
yeah. I'm just not for it. I don't really care.
All right. So I think like with my personal journey with social media, I when TikTok evolved, I knew that it was too much for me. Like there'd be no more. I wouldn't come back. Like that I would be completely gone from the real world and now in a virtual world. It is like I would have just been gone. I knew that about myself, so I probably tried to set up an account, a fledgling account here, here or there. I knew for artists that I was, working with, that it was important for them, for their brands because it was of the power of it, as far as like marketing power and monetary um, gain is incredible. I know people making money on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like regular people, like mechanics, just like, and, it's all about whoever's watching you. And yeah, it was just gonna take so much time. I already do so much scrolling as it is. I mean, let's be honest, guys. We wake up scrolling, we go to bed scrolling. Sometimes you're on a date scrolling. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're at the dinner
Now,
table.
not
Sometimes
to
you're on the
cut
dinner
you off,
table.
but
Everyone's scrolling at the dinner table.
yeah, like those kind of things, like I don't like. That's what I don't like about where we are with social media and technology, where it's basically just invaded what I feel has always should have been revered as sacred space, which is your family. Like, okay, it's one thing when you do it, like, but you should have a limit when you're at the dinner table.
Bro, like
Like,
when you see, and this has happened a couple times, and this is facts what I'm about to say. When you see a group of kids playing organically outside in today's world, it's shocking. It goes viral. It almost because kids don't even enter because of social media and they grew up with it. They're not even outside playing. So when you actually like, I think somewhere they lost power recently and they lost Wi-Fi, so everyone had to be outside or something. And so like there was a scene of actually people like having fun outside because like they weren't connected to their devices. You know what I mean? But we grew up in an era like Greek picnic, everyone would be outside with no devices. You know what I mean? Like having a good
now
time.
imagine if we had devices
Yeah.
back when that was the popular thing. You know what I mean?
Everyone would
Like,
have been in jail. Everybody would have been locked up. If like, and this was my aversion to even getting a camera on my phone. You personally know me when I had a problem, wanting a camera to be on my phone. I'm like, why would you do that? Like, unfortunately, like I could be criminally minded sometimes. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, why would you want to document anything? Like anything. The concept was just foreign to me. Like it took two Blackberries for me to finally get one with a camera on it, and now look where we're at. Where I got the what I mean, the 4K, capabilities right on the phone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Speaking of which, I got a new phone finally.
nice,
Yeah, it's the
nice,
Google. It's the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Yes,
nice.
it is nice.
You're back. You're back.
I'm back. I'm back in
Yes,
full force.
yes,
I can get
bro.
back to what I love doing.
Yes, yeah, and you have a gift. So yes, continue with that. You know what I mean? Like speaking of monetization in the Trump era, like that's what it's all about. Like finding different ways to make money because like money rules the world now.
Yeah. So let's get off this Trump side of things and get to what we really
Oh,
truly
but like,
came to talk
but
about.
before we do, like, the last thing, like, so guys, it was a publicity stunt that, like, he knew everyone I just mentioned. They knew it was going to play out exactly how it played out with like how TikTok went down temporarily. And just for some details, I did look into that. Like, it basically was unavailable on the app in the Play Store for a couple hours.
Yeah, I know because I went to the website on the computer and that shit was in full force. It's just like, yeah. But you're right. It was. It was just something to distract people yet again.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Um Now, let's really move on because
yeah, because we got to talk sports and drugs.
yeah, sports
That
and drugs. Before we get into the drug side of things, we have to talk about it. I know that people probably tired of hearing us talk about it, but until it ends, I'm going to talk about it. And that is the greatness that is the Washington Commanders right now with what they're doing. For those who don't know, we're going to the NFC Championship.
against the Philadelphia Eagles. Full
Against
disclosure,
round 3,
third time we played them this season.
DJ Sabir is in foreign territory.
Oh
Board
yeah,
your windows. Board your windows, man, just in case they attack.
I
Especially if
remember,
you beat
but
them.
like this is how deep the rabbit hole goes. Like with that starter jacket, I remember the day after the body bag game, I had bet like everyone in my class $5 that day, and we lost, and we lost quarterbacks. And it was just a terrible loss. And like the next day, I showed up to school with my Redskins starter coat on, and I paid everyone back. You know what I mean? Like in the end, it was probably like $65 or something like that, because like they were all like little $5 bets with a whole lot of people, maybe some $10 joins. But like, yeah, I paid every bit of the $65 back that I bet on the body bag game. So yes, my history with the Eagles goes way back to my childhood, and this game is epic, and I'm excited about it for sure. It's been a long time since Wu Tang's had the chance to shine. I digress.
So, so we had talked off camera about I had posed a question about the perceived stigma of performance enhancement drugs in today's sports compared to the sports, to the steroid era. And that is where I want to begin this part of the conversation. Um, I feel that even if not publicly, I feel like the general consensus is nobody cares anymore. And the reason why I say that is because
You're saying that nobody cares that if athletes.
no. I'm talking about like ultimately whether they use them or not. Like people might just take the stance that, it's on them. Because I mean, what I think actually is happening is I think the league has probably found a way to mitigate or control it. And thus it became okay. I mean, we talk about
No, but
the
like aren't I'm gonna play. I'm ignorant. Aren't aren't these drugs still banned from?
no, I'm not talking. Okay, I'm not saying like this backdoor where they're using them, but even if it is still illegal, I feel like these people could still get access to it if they truly wanted to. And this is all based off of just. I'm not trying to make any claims or statements about the situation. I don't know what's going on. I could be totally wrong. This is just how I see it. It just seems like there's a lot less apathy or a lot more apathy, whichever side of that leans towards the fact of people just being able to sweep it under the rug
All
more
right.
these days.
Well, I mean, I think I mean, as a baseball fan, I'm just gonna speak for myself, and sports fan, and growing up, like, I just found my baseball glove recent because I moved. Like, I had my childhood baseball glove. Like, I played baseball as a child. So growing up, like, as a sports fan, um, you know, in baseball especially, like if you're not cheating, you're not trying sometimes. Like you're always trying to like like when they're trying to mark the ball, and they used to find stuff with them in their gloves, and just like you're trying to steal signs. And I mean, some parts of the competition lends itself to. And then there's the other side of the coin where Bill Belichick's deflating, balls, and like like there's a whole spectrum of cheating, like, But I say all that to say that when you look at McGuire, Sosa, Barry Bonds, even Alex Rodriguez as a fan, I think their numbers are tainted because they cheated by taking steroids, and human growth hormone, especially, was the big one that made them look like horses because, because it was basically like horse hormone or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But like, and now that's in Hollywood where we had Busta Rhymes and Dre. 10 years we're looking like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean? Like
And that's what I mean about lending towards the overall notion.
it has youthful effects. It can slow down aging and give you advantages at some parts physically, but you still have to have talent. Like Barry Bonds was, I'm going to argue, Barry Bonds had Hall of Fame talent even though he didn't cheat. So, like, we'll never know what the real numbers would have should have been. And that's why there's actually asterisks in the history books in the Hall of Fame or whatever, Cooperstown, for the era where, you know, they weren't testing for it. They were looking the other way or whatever. Like when it was just like blatant, Now there's randoms. I don't know. Like you did a dive on the steroid thing. Like I don't know how it is. And like the reason why I want to talk about is because in the NBA, the fact that these guys are so openly smoking cannabis now, where 15 years ago you were getting suspensions for testing positive for weed. You know what I mean? Like where we are at and evolving with just the concept
And
of
the NFL allows players to smoke weed too.
yeah.
And I know that for a fact because
At that point they had to they couldn't at that point they couldn't let one sport, but I think it was basketball that was first. I don't know I don't know baseball's policy on cannabis. We could find out, but uh, but I say all that to say that it's just interesting the evolution of drugs in sports, and and then we talk about it's not funny, it isn't funny, but like how some of the greats like Lawrence Taylor and Dexter Manley, even Marshawn Lynch, admit that he was drinking Hennessy before the game. Like these guys were like doing cocaine sometimes when they were on the field, and like
and
you know,
this is the point that I'm getting at. It's like the culture and the mindset
they
of
used to
these
smoke
modern
in the
players.
locker rooms, though, too. They used to smoke in the locker rooms,
Yeah. I mean, I just think we're just society wise, we're just at a point where that would be a lot more accepted, or it is a lot more accepted because I mean, think about what the average person is doing. Lean. Why would somebody that's doing lean give a damn about a motherfucker doing steroids? You see what I mean? Like this is what I'm getting at. And that's why I'm saying like
weed lean, when you're drinking weed lean, why do you care what your
yeah,
hero?
exactly. Exactly. And I'm just saying like not to say that it should be legalized. I'm just saying like I think that if it's still being done, nobody's really giving a damn about it. You see what I mean? Like, and they let you smoke weed now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it happened. I would imagine if they letting the players smoke weed.
And I think with a doctor's prescription, you can use Adderall, and you know
And they're still doing cocaine.
drugs that
So
give you focus.
and they're still doing cocaine. So it's not like things have really truly changed. It was just like that era was the sacrificial lamb.
Bro, they said Jalen Hurts was off the perks. He said he was off the perks after the game because of that injury. That's why he was talking so reckless after the game. They said he sounded like he was off the perks, man. Like he was crazy. He's like, yeah, I used to play football on the video game. You know the video game. He was sounding
For
crazy.
real, I haven't seen it.
He sounded crazy. He didn't even sound like himself. It definitely was funny.
Which this is what I'm saying. Like, look at that. What if he was? It ain't like you can't get perks from the
taking
doctor.
needles and stuff. Like from a medical standpoint, these team doctors are doing, cutting edge and probably slightly illegal things, to get these players through games. Like I'm pretty sure Jalen Daniels took some kind of numbing needle in his with the rib injury to try to get through that game. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they try to they don't talk about that kind of stuff, but like all kinds of stuff might be happening under that tent. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's blue for a reason.
yeah.
It's blue for a reason. No, I'm just kidding with that. But I mean, everything you're saying just lends to the point that I'm making. And that's just why I feel like I think the steroids era did what it was supposed to do back
Yeah,
then.
that's why I look at Griffey, I look at Ryan Howard, I guess Frank Thomas. I mean, not Manny. Manny cheated, but like, there's a couple guys with numbers that I know I'm probably forgetting something as far as baseball that didn't cheat, and like I look at their, I do look at their, I feel like that's more of an accomplishment if you were able to get you know magnificent numbers without like risking the health of your body.
Now, I will say this, personally speaking,
Lance Armstrong.
when it comes to football, I personally am a lot more tolerant of these kind of things because the sport that they play, you can die out there. It's not even a euphemism when I
What do
say
you
it.
mean tolerant? Like are
Like
you
if
saying
they're
that
taking something,
Alzado took steroids? What are you
no,
saying?
no, we're not talking about anabolic steroids. We're talking about these things, these performance enhancement as a general concept. Like you said,
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels taking a shot in the ribs to help him get through this game. Like I'm tolerant of that because
Yeah, that's medicine. I feel like that's medicine.
I
That's
mean,
fine.
but
Like,
these things are borderline addictive if we're being honest.
oh yeah, there's
You
always.
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
of
Like
course,
there's a risk in it. And I
of
just
course.
think that,
Yeah,
and like I said, this is how I personally feel towards football because like that is the most violent of the sports. You see what I mean? Like
and that's
you
why I'm so happy that under this new management that I'm so confident that that's being handled at its most professional level. You know what I mean? Like, I'm confident that they're managing Marshawn Lattimore's hamstring and Eckler's concussion and Jalen's rib injury. I'm confident that medically they are doing it the best. Like the treatment involved is impeccable. You know what I mean? And that was not happening, under the last administration with our players. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, at a certain point, you have to protect a player from themselves sometimes. You know what I mean? We see that with the Embiid. Like he looks terrible out there right now. That's a sore subject,
thought you said it was the savior.
bro. He's hurt. He's forever hurt. He's done. I hate to say it. That was my guy. Generational player, talent. He was basically Kobe and Dirk's body, like as far as his athleticism and yeah, but he's had every single injury you can think of, and some major ones in the knee that he can't come back from, unfortunately.
That's sad.
Yeah, so it's the Tyrese Maxey show, but like he doesn't know it. It's like the punch drunk boxer, like who's not willing to completely give up. Uh, and there's nothing you can do. There's no surgery. There's nothing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But like the way the Sixers have handled it has been negligent as far as the way they've handled it publicly and privately. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
It's funny. Just a
These
little
guys are
earlier
warriors.
today.
These guys are warriors. Glad they're gladiators.
A little earlier today, I saw this video RG3 was talking about. He was basically pointing out how, like, it, it wasn't like he was throwing shade. He was just pointing out, I guess, the difference in the organization now, and in a sense, how fortunate Jaden Daniels has it, you know, because he was just kind of laying out the situation as it was when he was drafted, and he talked about how he came into the middle of a feud between Shanahan and Daniel Snyder, and he said he wasn't aware. I mean, I don't know how you're not aware, but he did say that he thought that he wasn't handled properly.
Yeah, I think we could all, yeah, I think we all knew that. The gut check. Like we knew in that playoff game that with the brace on that leg that it was like barely holding together whatever was still together inside of it, and that he was so caught up in the magic of that season that was lightning in a bottle that he was willing to risk his future to try to win that game, and he succumbed to that. He was never the same player, physically and probably psychologically, and yeah, like they should have allowed him to do that. I don't think that happens with today's management. They're not
Right.
going to allow that. You're the franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? Like we need you for your career. That should always outweigh any kind of short term you know decisions.
Exactly.
Just
But
like,
it's okay. It's okay.
bro, I just want to you know, it's so cold right now. Like, I can't wait till it warms up. Like head down to the Gulf of America and just like find a spot down there. That's good. I'm looking forward to that. You know, shout out to all the Gulf of America destinations coming up. You know, celebrate the king.
Did you know that Ron DeSantis pretty much immediately after he said that issued some type of like executive order, but he used that term in the language for his executive order. It had something to do with the weather, like an upcoming storm or whatever, but he used Gulf of America. He used the term in his executive order. So now that shit is officially documented in government, you know, bureaucracy, this term. And that's how it happens.
It's
That's
ironic.
how it happens.
It's
They
ironic you
start,
mentioned.
yeah, they start using it like that. The next thing you know, when the new budget comes out, it's written in the terms. Like it's just casually used at this point. And next thing you know, now it's called Gulf of America.
Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida wanted. He wants to be Trump. He wanted to be Trump. If Donald Trump wasn't here, he would have probably been here to absorb what was the opportunity for Trump to be Trump. He was next in line to take the evolution of that whole Tea Party thing and just like uh, the momentum of all the hate that Obama drew upon from certain people within our country and run with it. He would have been there for that. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Florida is you know Trumpville in so many ways.
It doesn't surprise me at all. If
Yeah,
you look at his cabinet, a good portion of that cabinet or out of Florida.
Yeah, that's like that. That's like their hub. That's one of their hubs in the country for sure. They're definitely not. They definitely California. They definitely not with the left coast, and they're definitely not with the the East Coast, the Northeast. You know what I mean? Like so places like Florida. You know,
Now, this Gulf of America thing, that's one thing, but what people aren't talking about is how he's trying to annex the Panama Canal. What? You can't hear me
yeah,
now?
he's mentioned oh God, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But yeah, he wants to. I don't. Yeah, he wants to take over. He said a lot of things in the past couple of weeks, and that was one of them, for sure. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. I know I talked all that trash about the tool book of how to get through this, but it's here. It's now. So you know,
Man, it's just the Roman Empire expanding again.
I can see I'm going to be watching a lot of Tubi and just enjoying America's new team, the Washington Commanders, and
The
just
one
prepare for the
last
end of the world. Otherwise,
right. And this is how you know the end of the world is coming. They
yeah,
gave us our dream.
it's cold as shit. El Nino has gone El Coldo. I mean, they keep trying to explain. Oh, this is because the El Nino got out of whack, and then like this is like it's unwhacking right now. They all try to they try to explain like you know what I mean. Like, but this at this point, extreme weather events are happening. The Earth is angry. Everybody, it's not happy. I'm sorry. Stay woke.
Listen, I told you before, and I'll tell you again. I'm just here to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I mean, like when I'm starting to listen. Like I'm a great listener, and I'm starting to listen to you. I'm starting to listen to you.
But
And
that's all you
now,
can do. I mean,
like
even if I look at it, realistically, I'm too old to have any impact unless I do something extremely drastic, which I'm not going to do because I'm too old to do it. You know what I mean? And the young kids don't listen to us, so we can't pass off the knowledge to them. I don't even know who we're talking to with these podcasts, if I'm being honest, because I don't think it's the young people. I think it's people around our age, honestly,
yeah,
which I'm good with, if that's the case.
yeah,
I hope young people are listening, but I'm gonna be honest when I say I don't believe it to be true.
nah. But it's here. It's here for eternity. As long as there's YouTube, you can always come back and find us. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And I mean, in the big scheme of things, we won't even be around that much longer. So I'm just gonna live my life and watch the world burn. Unless we get to some shit, unless we get to some
Literally in the sky.
Skynet Terminator shit, then yeah, I'm not going out
Literally,
like
it
that.
was burning. It was burning in California. The world was burning.
Oh, we can have that conversation another time because we'll be here for another hour and a half.
The negligence involved with that. What happened out there?
I mean, just all of it. The loss of property, the loss of history, all of it. It's sad. It's a sad thing. And the whole issue with the insurance companies pulling out, like all of it. It's a big clusterfuck that didn't have to happen. And I have my suspicions as to what the bigger picture of that is. But like I said, if we start going down this rabbit hole, we'll be here for another hour or so. And I know you said you had dinner or something later, so I don't want to hold you
Mm-hmm.
longer than you have to be. But we could talk about that later.
All right. It's your boy DJ Sabir, ready for war. Uh, Rest in peace to the United States. You were a real one. We're
Man,
gonna
show
pour
you.
out. We're gonna pour. I'm gonna pour out some some weed lean for the U.S. of A real soon.
Yep.
And follow us.
Follow us on social media. Let
Yeah,
me
look
say
for
this
us on
before
all
we get out of
platforms.
here. Yeah, just go to our Linktree page, which is Linktree with the dot between the R and the E / Talk Your Soul podcast. If you're watching us on video, you see it currently scrolling across your screen. If not, just look for us on Linktree. You can get the links to all of our other social media. Follow us, like, and subscribe. Thank you for listening as always.
Peace.
Peace.